Associate Professor of Political Science at the Al-Azhar University in Gaza. Thanks so much for being with us. It's been delayed, but only according to some until, closer to the end of July. Still, with so much opposition, both internally and externally, do you think Israel will indeed go ahead with this annexation?
Well, what we know, at least for now, that Israeli plans of annexing part of the West Bank have been delayed, as you just mentioned, due to internal differences between the two coalition parties, Benjamin Netanyahu and his partner, Benny Gantz, the head of a blue and white political party. And also this postponement, I think, comes also amid differences with the U.S., with the Trump administration, in which a number of Israeli sources have said that, or indicated that the final maps of the West Bank have not been finalized between the Israelis and the Americans. It seems to me that Israel also has taken into consideration the international rejection of any annexation of parts of the West Bank, and we have heard very encouraging statements from many EU leaders. The latest one was Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister of Britain, who has indicated that this will not be accepted by Britain or by the EU. But it seems to me that a number of sources are saying that in Israel that maybe Netanyahu will try to annex parts of the West Bank before American elections, American presidential elections, which are scheduled to take place in November 3rd of this year, to try to boost the chances of Donald Trump to win the presidential race in November.
Right. The majority, though, of the international community has spoken up in support of the Palestinians before, especially at the general level of the United Nations. They've long condemned Israeli action. They've always said it's in violation of international law. Still, Israel has often just gone ahead with very little consequences to pay for violating international law. So let me ask you, what options do Palestinians themselves actually have to try to stop this?
That is a very good question. The international community hasn't done more than a condemnation of Israeli illegal activities, whether it's settlement expansion or other brutal activities against the Palestinian people in the occupied Palestinian territories, West Bank, Gaza, and East Jerusalem. We do expect from the international community to speak out and to take serious measures and serious actions against Israeli illegal actions in the occupied Palestinian territories. But going back to your question, I believe that the Palestinians themselves can do a lot. And as you probably know, that the Palestinian leadership, represented by President Mahmoud Abbas, has taken a decision on May 19th of last month, about a month and a half ago, to no commitment to any political, economic, and security protocols or agreements with the Israeli government or with the U.S. administration, to try to put pressure on the Israeli government not to annex any parts of the West Bank. And also the Palestinian factions here in Gaza, led by Hamas, has threatened that any annexation of the West Bank will be a declaration of war against the Palestinian people, and that will not go without retaliation. Let me just say that Hamas has experienced 24 long-range missiles in the Mediterranean Sea this morning, in a very clear-cut message to the Israeli government and the Israeli people that any annexation of the West Bank will probably provoke another cycle of violence with the Palestinian resistance groups in Gaza.
Okay, Mkhaimar Abu Sada, thank you so much for joining us there. We appreciate it.